PEPE coin holders? We've got a video for you guys. Today I'm going to be talking about PEPE because the market is quite volatile. We've seen all the way up to 112,000 over the past couple weeks, and now we've broken down to 101,000, and now we're bouncing here. So what does that mean for PEPE? Where are we head? We're going to be talking about that. So without further ado, welcome back to CryptoPort. I'm maxi. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel right now. Appreciate you stopping by. Let's hop into this video. All right, guys, so we are going to start off here on Crypto Twitter. You can follow me at 333blacksea. I say the fourth and final phase of this cycle trends to be the most trappy, most volatile, and most confusing. It tends to be. And also, it is the trend, right? I will say, however, it almost always generates the most profit. So we need to be talking about that because we are moving into Q3 2025. Q4 should be the most profitable. It should be based on the 4-year cycle, based on where Bitcoin is, based on where altcoin season usually tends to be, right? So I've been doing some 75x degen PEPE longs, having some fun here and there. My $200,000 XRP long was stopped out in the profit moving into June and July. Usually June, July, August is somewhat sluggish, bearish price action. So I'm okay getting stopped out in profit on my XRP long. But I am looking to capitalize on volatility, long side and short side for PEPE within Q3. And I do think that just because Q3 tends to be bearish, sluggish, does not mean it has to be. We're going to look at some analytics here shortly. So I did open up a 75x PEPE long right now. I've been doing this for every PEPE video. Before I click the record button, I open up a 75x long and see what happens throughout the video, right? Just $69. We're down about $3, but you know, it's 75x leverage, so this could snap in a finger and be up a couple $100. It's a lot of fun. I will say though, guys, if you're going to be doing this, these 75x leverage trades, really anything over like 10x leverage, please use money you're not afraid to lose, guys. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Just I'm a guy that's putting my money where my mouth is, and I'm showing you guys what I'm doing. All right, it's as simple as that. But if you are planning on leverage trading, and you want to just have fun with it, you want to do high leverage, please, guys, use money you're willing to lose. Because 75x leverage is crazy, and I'm only doing it with money I'm willing to lose. If I say that enough, do you guys understand? Because using 75x leverage, you can and you will lose your money, especially if you're not monitoring your trades, right? So looking at PEPE right now, we are below a very important support level. The support level of 4 zeros and 12. Now, just because we're below this doesn't mean that, oh, this was a lower high and now it was a dead cat bounce and now we're going to zero. No. It doesn't mean that necessarily. But I will say that a very important price level for us to be holding here is this yellow bullish trend line. This is kind of like the bullish trend line support in my opinion. Like this is, you don't want to be breaking below this. And really that's about 4.010. I don't want to see any closures below 4.010. Can that happen? Sure, but I will say if we start to close below this, I'm going to be leaning much more towards the idea that this is a lower high and it's not just a stepping stone to new all-time highs for PEPE. Now, guys, if you've been watching the Crypto Report, you guys know that I called this out. When we broke above this, I said, hey, guys, look for a test of support level 1 and support level 2 at 4.012 and 4.014. We hit that. And if you guys were watching the Crypto Report at the time, like this video, because if you opened up a long, you would have gotten a 30% and 60% gain respectively on that trade if you followed my call out on it. Now, I will say that I am cautious here. I am cautious because I do think that June, July, August tends to be bearish. Does not mean like we're going to dump or anything like that, but it tends to be bearish and sluggish. I would prefer to use the word sluggish because the volume is low. The order books are thin. The market is easily manipulated. That's my best way to describe the summertime, especially in this phase of the bull market. People kind of step away. The big money steps away, just kind of hangs out with friends and family, goes on vacation. They're not in the office. It's very important to know that. But guys, if you do want to trade PEPE, you do want to do some 75x longs, or you want to not be a degen like me and do some maybe shorter 3x, 10x longs, maybe a little bit smaller like that, then feel free to check out in the description box below or pin comment down below. We have a $5,000 sign-in bonus to Blowfin. All you have to do is click that link, deposit Trailbit, you get a bunch of free money. Take advantage of these promotions because, guys, right now the market is volatile. I think there's opportunities out there. Now, I will say, like I said already, I think that the summertime is quite sluggish, but there will be big volatile spikes throughout this time frame. So let's talk about this time frame, right? June, July, and August. Usually, June, July, and August is quite sluggish. You look at these red months here. If you were to add up all the green months and all the red months, there are more red months than green, right? Now, I want to show you what quarterly returns look like. Because quarterly returns look like, well, that doesn't seem as bad. It's obviously not as bullish as like Q2, where you see big, big green, or Q4, where you see big, big green, and only a couple. We've seen four red quarters out of how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 13 if you want to count. Oh, that's the average, excuse me. 12 out of 12 quarters, 4 out of 12 is pretty good, right? But Q3 usually is sluggish. Now, I will say, guys, when everyone is paying attention to this data, it's not going to be exactly the same every single time. And I know a lot of people do usually expect, sell in May, walk away. I will say, though, sell in May and walk away has some merit to it because the big money steps away. There's something to take note of that. However, if we see rate cuts, right? We're seeing Jerome Powell speak today. Is he going to start talking about QE? Is he going to start talking about these rate cuts? We were supposed to have 4 rate cuts in 2025, and we've had 0 so far. If we start to see the overarching macroeconomics of the world start to shift, and retail comes back, not the institutional money, retail comes back, then I would say, okay, maybe we should be looking out for that 80% gain, that 25% gain. I do think that is kind of that's a reach. It's a reach to be looking for that, but there's always invalidations in trading. You need to be looking at every single variable. And I think that if Jerome does start to cut the rates, we see a pivot to QE, you could see that create an environment that is much more favorable for risk on assets, aka PEPE, guys. Speaking of PEPE, let's check on the trade here. So we're down about $12 on it. I'll probably close this out at the end of this video because I think that, guys, it's still the weekend. Weekend price action is quite volatile. We're talking about how it's sluggish Q3, but the weekends are that on a whole nother level. But so looking at PEPE right now, we're seeing at rank 27, down about 16% in the past 7 days, and really 0.00% gain on the past 24 hours. Like nothing's really happening here. And you look at it, and we're sitting at a 4.85 billion. So we've ducked below $5 billion market cap on PEPE. And guys, Bitcoin has been quite jumpy, right? We've came up to 112K. We came back down to 101K. I want to talk about this because I see a lot of people really spooked. I see a lot of people talking about this was the double top and then we're coming down, just like how it was back in 2020, 2021. And I want to show you some things on Bitcoin here where we should probably be paying attention to, because is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. But I'm not saying that until the fat lady sings. Like, you're going to hear me sound like a broken record when I talk about the Bitcoin 4-year cycle because, guys, Q4 2025 into September, that is when the fat lady sings, right? And you can even give or take like 60, 80 days even on each end. But based on the 4-year cycle, we should be expecting some sideways chop right now. We should be expecting some spooky bull traps, bear traps. We should be seeing that trappy behavior. But I'm not going to say that this is a double top right here until we see closures below 94 and 88,000. I think really 94K, it would really start to worry me. I'd be a little bit more cautious to say, hey guys, like we should be concerned about a test to new lows, a test to break below 88K if we do start to close below 94,000. 94,000, in my opinion, is a very important price level. And I would say, hey, that definitely will look like a double top, especially like think about that. If you're breaking below down here, guys, that's a double top, right? But we have time. We have time. Q3, 3 months, 90 days. I do think that we're going to see a lot of strange price action throughout Q3. But, guys, I'm still bullish on Q4. I still think that the Fed is going to cut rates. We're going to move into quantitative easing. And you're going to see risk on assets make a bigger move to the upside, a.k.a. PEPE, guys. I'm bullish on PEPE. I think PEPE is the chosen meme coin this cycle. I think it has the most staying power. It's not like a $1 million market cap meme, right? It actually is a multi-billion-dollar meme, and I think that it can flip Shiba Inu. I think it can flip Dogecoin. Checking on the trade right now. Yeah, see, guys, this is what I'm telling you. This low, like when I looked at the technicals, I said, yeah, maybe we could see a bounce here, but I knew it was a risk. I'm probably going to lose this $69, but that's okay. That's leverage trading, guys, especially if you're just degen longing, degen shorting, and you're not actually focusing. Like, I would never do a 75x leverage trade with significant money. I'm only doing these trades with money I'm willing to lose. And I'm just showing you guys how it can play out. You know, the other day, probably about a week ago, I did a $100 long on on PEPE. It turned into $4,000, $5,000, right? That's awesome. But guys, also, you put $69, $100 on, it's gone. It can happen like that. So you got to be very, very careful doing your leverage trading. You got to be very disciplined. You need to learn how to trade. You can't just go into it and just gamble unless that's what you want to do, but I wouldn't recommend it, guys. And I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. I'm just telling you guys what I'm doing in these markets. That's all I got. Hit that like button if you're bullish on PEPE. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.